Consumer brands have always had a challenge in understanding who their existing and who their prospective customers are, and getting data about those customers is a key thing. The innovation at Sampler, Marie, is that you figured out at the moment a brand is giving a consumer a sample of something, there's an opportunity to collect a lot of data. And you've been wildly successful at getting that rolling. What was your original insight with Sampler?
So I started my career handing out free product samples on street corners. So definitely lived the problem of, giving out a sample to just whoever walks by, and quickly realized that it was ludicrous that we would just be giving out these samples without actually receiving any feedback. So the problem we solve is kind of one of those things where people go, oh, why didn't I think of that? It's very simple and it makes sense. I think initially it was really about highlighting the fact that there is a high level of inefficiency and something that brands were already spending a lot of money on. The recent trends around a big shift to direct to consumer for brands, the rising demand for e-commerce has definitely helped our industry shape itself into what it is today.
So from start to finish with a brand that you've onboarded, what kind of results have they seen?
So many amazing brands. We work actually today, I'm very proud to say, about 20% of the top 100 CPGs in the world. One of my favorite stories is with L'Oreal. So L'Oreal has always been very much ahead of the game in the way that they're thinking about developing customer relationships. But when it came to digitizing product sampling, it was something that initially that needed some convincing. L'Oreal has for a long time been allowing consumers to understand which products is best suited for their skin by using an online questionnaire. So you can go to pretty much any of their site and say, I have sensitive skin and therefore I should be having X product. The problem they were having is that consumers weren't really inclined to filling that information. So, they could expect approximately less than 5% of consumers to converting to that diagnostic. By adding a sampling call to action, they actually drove 10 times more activity into that diagnostic. So now not only is the consumer getting a better suited product for themselves, but if they're not ready to buy, they also have the opportunity to sample it before they buy.
So that growth in conversions for L'Oreal, what has that translated to in sales? Is that how you measure the success of the solution?
We actually measure a lot of things earlier in the funnel, like brand awareness or satisfaction and things like that. So one of my favorite stories around optimizing before sale is actually thinking about media. We never ask people hey, you've seen this ad 3 times, maybe you've clicked it, maybe you've watched a video, but are you actually interested in my product? And product sampling does a really, really good job. We always say to brands after someone's interacted 3 times with your ad, send them a sample if they haven't converted to purchase. Get them to tell you if yes, no, they actually had a positive experience. And, the no is just as powerful as the yes. If they say no, then stop advertising, stop wasting dollars. With Sampler, you can ensure that your sample goes to 100% of the time the right person. And sometimes marketers even make mistakes on who the right person is. So after doing a certain number of samples, if the technology learns, or if we learn that ultimately that wasn't the right target market, then we can adapt. And that's something that traditionally brands have not been able to do.